Hola! Today we are going to talk about stem changers and the preterite. So remember, we call these verbs sandal verbs or slipper verbs. Only IR verbs are going to have a stem change in the preterite tense. Only IR verbs can stem change in the preterite. And then these verbs that stem change in the preterite also have to have a stem change in the present tense. These verbs will stem change in the LA usted and the ellos, ellas, ustedes forms. So in order for a verb to stem change in preterite, it has to stem change in the present, it has to be an IR verb, and then if it follows both of those, then it will only stem change in the LA usted and the ellos, ellas, ustedes forms. There are only going to be stem changers that are E to I or O to U. We can't have E to IE or O to UE like in present tense. So for example, repetir. Repeti, repetiste, repetio, repetimos, repetistes, repetieron. So you'll notice this is an IR verb. It does stem change in present tense, E to I, so it will stem change in preterite, only in the sandal or the slipper though. So instead of this boot shape that we would use for present tense, we're only going to use the bottom two in preterite. And I can only go E to I or O to U. So since there's an I here, we'll do E to I. Dormir, dormi, dormiste, dormio, dormimos, dormistes, dormieron. Again, it does stem change in present tense. It does end in IR. So it will stem change in the sandal or slipper here in preterite. So in present tense, this changes O to UE, duermo, duermes, duerme. However, in preterite, remember it can only go O to U. So that's why we only have O to U here. Seguir is to follow. Segui, seguiste, siguió. Seguimos, seguistes, siguieron. Ends in IR. It does stem change in present. It will stem change in preterite in the slipper. E to I. These are just some other verbs that will also stem change in the preterite tense. Despedir, despedirse, divertirse, pedir, preferir, repetir, sugerir, to suggest, servir, vestirse, to get dressed. Alright, so take a second and practice these problems, and then when you are all finished, you can restart the video for the answers. Ok, y aquí tienes las respuestas. Yo repetí después del profesor, pero mi amigo no repitió. So it only stem changes in the slipper, so the first one won't, but the second one will. Dos, mis padres pidieron los tacos y mi hermano pidió el pollo. Tres, tú te vestiste para el baile, pero mi perro no se vistió. Cuatro, nosotros nos divertimos mucho, pero Mario no se divirtió. So only the L form and the ellos form here are going to stem change. And then we have our double vowel verbs or our Y verbs. So again, this will only be in the LA usted and the ellos, ellas, ustedes forms. This is verbs that have a double vowel. They will end up with a Y in these two forms. Also, verbs that end in UIR will have accents only in the yo form and the LA usted form, while the rest of the double vowel verbs will have accents in every single form except for the ellos, ellas, ustedes. For example, leer has two vowels. It has a double E. So leer will be conjugated in the preterite as leí, leíste, leó, leímos, leístes, leyeron. Every single form has an accent except for ellos, ellas, ustedes, and we need this in order to maintain pronunciation. If we didn't have an accent here, it would just be leíste. We need the accent, so it's leíste, leí, leímos. Oír is the same thing. It has two vowels in a row. Oí, oíste, oyó, oímos, oístes, oyeron. It has an accent in every form except for the ellos form. In order to maintain pronunciation, instead of oy, we want oí. Influir is a UIR verb, so there will only be accents in the yo form and the LA usted form. So influí, influiste, influyó, influimos, influistes, influyeron. These are more verbs that have a double vowel: creer, poseer, construir, contribuir, incluir, destruir. So take a second and practice this, and then you can restart the video for the answers after you complete these problems. Ok, y las respuestas. Mi padre construyó nuestra casa. ¿Oíste tú las instrucciones que dijo la profesora? Yo incluí muchos colores en mi dibujo. ¿Quién destruyó mi póster? Alguien escribió "Yo amo a Raúl" por todas partes. Todos nosotros contribuimos mucho a la clase hoy. Le dijimos nuestra opinión al profesor. Okay, please feel free to email me should you have any questions. Have a great night.